Hello. The first point I would like to make is that a human rights framework is not an extraordinary thing for migration and development policies. The human rights framework in most of contemporary democracies is the ultimate legitimacy test for all policies. Policies about women, policies about children, policies about the elderly, agricultural policies, all the policies have a human rights framework. Migration policies are not different. Migrants have rights. Their rights need to be protected. They are part of those who are protected by the human rights commitments of all the states. So in that sense, a human rights framework just makes sense because it is a governmental policy and states need to be checked on how they treat individuals, whatever their migratory status. Second, a human rights framework makes sense for migration and development policies because it is in the interest of the migrants. If we want efficient migration and development policies, those migration and development policies must work in favor of the host state, of the state of origin, but they must also work for the migrants. Whatever policy we devise that involves migrants has to work for the migrants. Otherwise, the migrants won't use the policy or will avoid the mechanisms put in place by the policy. So migrants have to be included, and the best way to do this is to include them at the stage of preparing the policy, of organizing the policy. Third, how do we implement that at local level? It's important to understand that we already have examples at local level. And very often cities have been very good at embracing migrants and migration generally and trying to find development solutions for their whole community, including the migrants. Cities do not fence themselves off, or most of them. Cities are open. They have borders. The borders exist for tax purposes, for regulation purposes. The pavement changes color at one point in the street, and that's the city border. It exists, but it's not there to stop people entering or leaving. People can enter cities as they will, leave cities as they will. So this is what cities have done. They have in recent years, in the past century, let's say, they have never prevented people from coming. And many of them have had a substantial growth by several 100% in their population. And they have coped and managed with this enormous increase in population. And we have examples in the field on how this can work. For example, Bill de Blasio, mayor of New York, has distributed ID cards to all New Yorkers, whatever their migration status. Anyone who lives in New York is a New Yorker. You receive an ID card. That ID card allows you to find space in the city, obtain services, especially from public services, access to libraries, etc. It makes you a local citizen. And it works in favor of everyone, including migrants, and that's what cities want. They don't care about the migration status. That's an issue for immigration enforcement, and hopefully immigration enforcement is well-trained and gender-sensitive and human rights sensitive and competent, and they will do their job. And if they have to arrest and detain and deport people, they will do so. That's not the job of the city. The city is to work has to manage a community, and the community consists of everyone. Another example of such a firewall, as it's often called, is how in several cities, the police force has requested the municipal authorities to prohibit them from immigration papers. This is the case, for example, in San Francisco. By doing this, the local police, is sending the message to the community: whenever we're serving and protecting the whole of the community, and whenever you have a problem, you can call us. We will not be there to arrest you, detain you, and deport you. So if you hear gunshots next door, it's time to call us. If there is family violence, it's time to call us. Don't hesitate. It's not because you're undocumented that you should hesitate. You can call us, secure in the belief that we will not arrest you for your immigration status. That is very important. That provides migrants, all migrants, with the capacity to interact with public services. And we should also see that in schools, in hospitals, with labor inspectors, with social workers. All these people should be able to work with the whole of the community that they have to work with, not excluding anyone, and speak up in favor of those people that they serve and protect. Speak up in order to show that these people are not threats, these people are not a danger to the community, they're not a criminal, they are contributing to the wealth of the city. And so cities have been very good in those policies, and cities show that adopting a human rights framework for migration and development actually produces good results for the individuals, migrants, for the city, but also for the state. It contributes to create a healthier community and a healthier economy.